Toner, who was one of our keynotes today, is also joining us right here at Conference Live. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
How are you enjoying the conference so far?
Yeah, having a great time out here in San Diego.
What are some of, obviously there's been a tremendous growth in AI outside of the real estate space. What are some of the opportunities that you're seeing present now?
Yeah, I would say, obviously there's a ton of things going on in AI inside of the industry, but I think imperatively, and kind of what I talked about this morning in the keynote, is that there's a fundamental divide between what's happening outside the industry and what's happening inside the industry. Jim has been quite adamant, I think, using this term, that the tech industry is running about 100 miles an hour, the real estate industry is running about 25 miles an hour. And I would say, not only do I agree with that, but I think there's a couple fundamental things behind that people need to understand as to why. And first and foremost, we have this artificially skewed older workforce within this industry. And it's not something that's necessarily bad, it's just something where we have a very large percentage of our workforce that's been very successful in an offline environment. There's been no driving need to change and to adopt more technology, but as we're seeing more and more, not just millennial, but much more digital native and digital acceptance from all demographics coming into the industry, we're seeing a much higher rate of adoption there. Second, there's three primary drivers of this industry. We've got the rental revenue, we've got the cost of the building, we've got the cost of the debt. Technology, if it goes after those three areas, it's going to be a leading successor. It will be that transformative change that kind of upends this industry. Everything else is kind of value add. It's great to have, but it's not necessarily a need to have.
What really excites you? I mean, when you look at AI, notes and things aside, what's really got you excited about the opportunity?
So one of the things, and one of the reasons why I'm in this industry, is the fact that this controls the built environment. Everywhere around us, everything that we're interacting with on a day-to-day basis all runs out of the companies that you see here today. I work for CBRE, world's largest real estate company. If we can make substantive change in AI, in machine learning, it's greater efficiency, it's greater transparency in all the ways and all the energy and usage and built footprint that's around us, for ourselves, our children, everything that we do on both a personal and professional basis.
What are some of the more unique or unconventional uses of AI that you're seeing, creative uses for it?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now in the industry, mainly it's going all around, kind of leases, documentation, some of the filtering through of kind of this torrent of data that's out there. I think some of the more creative uses and some of the things that are kind of out there on that leading edge are definitely getting into the robotics and the services. That said, where's the fundamental driver? It's less boring, but it's the former. That's where it's having kind of the real change in this industry.
And how does that pertain to specifically what you do at CBRE?
So at CB, I am, I feel I kind of have one of the best jobs in the company, but I oversee a good amount of work that we do inside of innovation, thought leadership, and research. And so all of these are topics that our clients want to hear about in each of those areas. And so coming out and kind of being places like this, picking up the new ideas, working with our clients on a day-to-day basis to adapt them into the portfolio, this is the bread and butter.
I hear a lot of talk at this conference. It seems to have been a shift from talking about tenant to customer, from customer management to customer experience.
Yeah.
Right? It's a much more kind of shiny, happy, hippie version of what we used to have. At the same time, I have friends who work at CB Richard Ellis in Los Angeles, and the office environment has transformed. Do you think that this is a trend, or do you think it's here to stay, this sort of very soft touch way that we're dealing with this?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you call it a soft touch because it's definitely a push from a traditional hard service provider into a soft service provider. So we're getting closer to the customer. And it's something that I think is definitely here to stay. If you look at all the other industries that have been through this wave before this, media, financial services, telecom, increasingly healthcare, all of them are going the same road. They're doing it with success. It's a way where we're getting more experiential in what we're, what is surrounding us, but at the same time, there's less out there. It's a simplified view. I'm going one place, not 10, and I'm getting a much more immersive experience in my time there.
A lot of people are talking about self-driving cars, and obviously the question is we can't see, right? No one could have foreseen the closing of all the blockbuster videos as a result of Netflix. But if you project out, what kind of disruption do you see from the way automobiles are changing?
I think it can be a fundamental change in our industry. I think right now when you look at autonomous vehicles, a lot of people are looking short term. I think it has the power to really kind of drive a large pivot in terms of the auto industry, But when you look long term, I think it can fundamentally upend the real estate industry. You're looking at the ability to have 1/3 of the urban core that's currently dedicated to parking potentially reused, redeveloped. I mean, it's not going to all happen at once. It's going to be something over time, but that opportunity is there when you're not parking cars.
What do you think they're going to do with those?
Well, so here's the thing. I mean, this big divide is how much do you love your car, and do you get rid of it, and does it become, kind of like the new horse, where kind of a small amount of people keep them as stables. It's for fun. It's something you take out on weekends, but it's not necessarily something that you need to sit through the Monday to Friday commute in. So will I get rid of it right away? Probably not. But is it something over time where I think it will just become, almost it makes no sense not to? I see that happening for sure.
CBRE has always been sort of at the vanguard of many of these areas. What do you think it is about the company, what the DNA of the company that keeps it in this position?
Yeah, I mean, we're a very entrepreneurial company in terms of what you look at, from both a services and geographic basis. I think it's an ability to give people the opportunity to do what they're passionate about for the length of time that they're passionate about it, and then we've always got something else in the industry that they can grow into. One of the best parts about CBRE is that we've got buildings, people, and projects all over the world doing almost anything. And so if you ever find yourself unfulfilled, chances are you can find yourself fulfilled without having to leave the company.
Terrific. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a little bit of a look ahead. Are there any other trends that you would be, if you were watching this or here at the conference, any other trends that you'd be keeping your eyes on for Realcomm 2017?
I would just say this, it's at the end of the day, it's got to be about the people. So all of this technology is great, but actually sitting right behind the camera is a member of my team, Jacqueline Travis.
Hello,
and
Jacqueline.
Just a phenomenal person.
Yeah.
And no matter what we do with technology, we always have to remember the people are at the heart, and it's about adding on and supporting these relationships right here and not replacing us with two robots.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you.